are we all?
Good.
Good. So it's interesting. First of all, I just want to say thank you, Campbell, for the opportunity to do this in front of you all fine folks. So Bridgette, or we also know her as B, she was going to be here today, but I'm stepping in her place. We are a bit of a tag team. She also owns Airlocker Trading Runaway Bay. So we're in the process of finding our roles in both businesses. But, put together a presentation, and when I stand up here, I just think about why we start the businesses that we do, or why we go into the industries that we go into. And on my way here this morning, I was thinking about just being a bit vulnerable and authentic with you all around our story and what inspired us to start Coastal Boss Removalists. So rewind probably about 16 months ago, and I was going through a bit of a transition in my life, and I was doing removals with B actually. And I was like, what am I doing? Full-time job, doing removals on the side. 2 chicks show up to a house and they're looking like, do you guys have a third person? Like, we're like, no, we're pretty strong, we can manage this. And during that period, we started talking about business, and I was at Airlocker at the time, and it just made us think like, what are we doing and why are we doing it? So it's a lot of the authenticity behind why we show up, why we wake up every morning, look after the kids, how we're working the way that we are. And fast forward a couple months later, B and I ended up getting together, and she's like, we should start our own removalist business. Why are we working for someone else? She's been doing it for about 15 years. And I was like, you're absolutely insane. No way, I am not starting a removalist business. Like, this is not my path. Anyway, fast forward 14 months and here we are, talking about our removalist business. So, actually, I don't really know how to work this. So what's
you push that one.
this one here?
Yeah.
All right, so I share that part of our story because I think it shows, sometimes when we get the mentality of working for someone else or dreaming big, what's our purpose, why are we doing what we're doing, and we've got 3 boys between the 2 of us, so we wanted to be an example that you can do anything you put your mind to. And we're firm believers that you keep showing up, you surround yourself with the right minded people, you communicate, you're authentic, you share your story, do the grit. We're both pretty strong women. That's shown, proven, but I think it's leading by example. And these are our 3 boys here. So we were actually on a way to a job that day. So it's Tate, Dawson, and Bodie in the middle, and Tate's on the right and Dawson's on the left. And explaining to them, the removalist industry, like, women can do it too, so can you. And we actually involve them in our jobs sometimes too, not all the time, certain jobs. But as a family-owned business, what's our purpose? And that's something that I just want to bring today to you all. Like, what's your purpose? Why are you showing up every morning? Why are you doing what you're doing? What motivates you in the morning? This has been a pretty challenging week for us. So looking at, every morning, what's your ritual? How do you show up in the day? Look yourself in the mirror, the good days and the bad days. Like, who's had a bad day at work? Yeah? And who's had a really good day and they're like, yeah, I can keep doing this. And the bad days, you're like, nope, not doing it anymore, I'm throwing in the towel. And when you own your own business, or you are around the right-minded people who can support you and motivate you, and I think that's something to say about this community, actually. We've been to quite a few networking events, and when you align with people that are in the same mindset, and you can be vulnerable, you can be authentic, and be like, I'm really struggling right now, like, can we open up and share ideas to help move forward? And there's been a few people, Kingsley, AJ, Campbell, Anita, Renee, there's so many different people, and I think the more that we can open up and share our story, we can support one another. So just a little bit, I am Gemini, so I do go off track a bit. So just by having a presentation, just sharing a little bit of honesty with you all, like, we're here doing what we do, but at the end of the day, we all go to sleep at night and we wake up the next morning, right? So I think everybody knows what, hopefully, did I hear hopefully? Yeah, exactly. You know, and I think sometimes it's important to.
Dad's surprised face with open mouth. Old man with lights.
That's hey, if you need to answer, it's all good.
It's fine.
Aw. You know, just a little bit about my background. So about a week and a half ago, I just returned from Colorado, and I haven't been back to Colorado for about 4 years. I was born and raised on a ranch. It's been in the family since the mid-1850s.
Wow.
And I was always the one, you know, bucking hay bales, fixing fence, bringing in the wood, cooking from time to time. But I think true grit, the values of what we do and why we do it. My boys were there with me. Unfortunately, B couldn't come, but riding horses. And I think it's just really about what inspires us to do what we're doing, and really taking in, you know, good times and bad times, and just to keep us moving forward. And I was there for 3.5 weeks, and since I've been back, and B was like, you know, can you do this presentation? And I'm like, oh, jet lag, like coming up with all the reasons. I love connecting and communicating with people and interacting and sharing stories, but I think the importance of sharing our story about Coastal Boss is that through the good times and the bad times, you just keep moving forward. And my background of, you know, being raised in Colorado and all my families across the world, like friends become family too. So where is that balance of, you know, being professional, but then you can blur a little bit with the personal side? And I think this group does that a bit. You know, we're all human at the end of the day, and we support one another. And sharing a story about myself and B, you know, between our fitness background, I was a personal trainer and coach for about 6 years, and I'm still in this space with Air Locker. About experience in partnerships, event operations, marketing, customer service, and community engagement. So really building that sense of community and coming together to support one another is one of our true values within the company. So about B. She's not here at the moment. She's actually coaching at Air Locker, but I will share a bit about her story. So she is a Olympian and former Matilda. She was actually the first Indigenous player to play and represent Australia at both the World Cup and Olympic Games.
Wow.
So she is, in terms of her strength and grit, it's another level. But I think just her passion for supporting others and really raising the benchmark in the industry, you know, being two females running a removalist business, we have had some interesting conversations. You know, 2 men showing up. It's like, no, the goal is we want to work on the business, not in the business. We do have teams now who are supporting us, but it really is depending on the demand and the workload that we get. So B is an avid CrossFit athlete as well. Her experience in the Olympics and playing as a Matilda, if you cross paths with her, I highly recommend talking to her about it, because it's just an inspiration to understand the mindset and how she got to where she was. Just small country town girl as well, from Singleton down in New South Wales. So that's a bit about her. She's not here, but I think she's an amazing human, and to do business with her is quite inspiring as well. So in terms of removalist business, to be honest, I think it's pretty straightforward. I think at the end of the day, we've got our hands in a few different pies, from white glove delivery to commercial to residential. We're in the movies a little bit too, working in the transport and logistics. But in terms of the support and the types of referrals that we need, you know, we really want to represent the removalist industry and redefine what it looks like, bring a different level of class, professionalism, reliability, and support with just, you know, moving people's belongings or moving from A to B. There's a sense of trust there. So it's you guys trusting us with your belongings, or you recommending us to trust someone else's. And it's really about just ensuring that the process gets done completely. So we are really big on community as well. We're a sponsor of the World Cup Championships coming up in February. So it's a surfing event down in Snapper Rocks. If you're a surfer or looking at getting involved in the event as well, highly recommend checking them out. We can also put you in touch. But this is just about community. So giving back to the community, making an impact, brand awareness, supporting one another, and where are we at? Kind of went through all of this a little bit. I think at the end of the day, you know, our ideal referral, there's obviously people from a variety of different backgrounds here. It really is about, we just appreciate any recommendation. If you know anyone who's moving, if you know anyone who's doing a business relocation, you know, we are very professional at what we do. We're reliable. I could sit here and, you know, I'm not going to try and pitch to you. I think it's just a matter of supporting one another and just sharing our story, a little bit of how we got to where we're at. And yeah, we would just really appreciate any support that we could do for your business as well. Happy to have a chat. It's definitely a mutual beneficial exchange, not transactional. So anyway, that's pretty much us. Any questions?
Is there any questions here that people have got?
How
No,
many
yes.
people have you got working now?
So we've got 3 offsiders that we can call on. So it really just depends on the jobs that come through. If it's like for example, we moved a Peloton bike for an actor to the Langham Hotel. That can easily just be done with the 2 of us. But you know, we've got pianos. Depending on the size of the job, we've got removalists to call on, or offsiders to call on. But ideally, we want to have probably 2 or 3 trucks on the ground, if not more, just within the Gold Coast area. But we do want to expand nationally as well. B actually started a company for someone else, and they built up to 20 trucks across Australia. So it's really just the mentality of, well, why are we doing this for someone else? You know, the level of customer service. There was just some things that we really feel like we can add a point of difference to in the industry. So we're a startup, we're building, but I think over time it's just about finding the right people for our team. We prefer quality over quantity. So yes.
Just one, there's one challenge that you've really